Hello viewers, welcome to Riverside Counsel with me, Caroline Bive, and today with me is a visitor, not really a visitor because we had him last time, and he is a psychologist and a counselor by profession. Mr. War, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Caro. It's another pleasure to meet you today. It's great that last time we had a nice discussion, and I would like to hear what you have for us today.
We are going to discuss about stress in children. Many people think of it's only adults who go through stress, who are stressed or depressed, but I believe and trust that children also get stressed. What causes stress in children?
Wow. Many things. Stress cuts across. It doesn't matter whether they are young or or an adult. And many times people might think that children are not stressed, or they don't experience stress. They do. Children experience stress. Let's talk of this mama, or when someone is expecting and they are going through stress. Even the fetus gets stressed because there's a way the body reacts. And if you are expecting a child, that child would basically experience what you are experiencing. It is communicated. So at birth, even toddlers, yes, children would experience stress and probably would express that stress in a different way, probably, and based on their age sets or age group, stress would be expressed differently. But yes, Caro, children experience stress.
And you cannot notice, sometimes you can, and sometimes you cannot notice when someone is stressed. What are the real features of signs of this person is stressed, this child is stressed? What are the signs?
Stress can be expressed in various ways. There are people who, when they are stressed, they say they eat a lot. And sometimes they don't know that they eat a lot. And that eating a lot is to soothe someone, is to soothe them. They eat a lot. Others, when they are stressed, they will lose appetite. They won't eat. You hear people say, when I am stressed, I grow fat. Why? What makes them grow fat? Probably they eat a lot and they don't know. Others, they just shrink. Why? Maybe because they don't eat. Others, when they are stressed, they lose sleep. And that would also apply to children. Okay? They lose appetite, they will lose sleep, or they'll eat more. In adults, probably they'll be eating a lot. Others, when they are stressed, they are so irritable. And irritability here can even come to the children. And how it's coming out to the children, a child will just be crying and crying. And it's based on what is happening within the family. Okay, so the child probably is crying and people don't understand what's happening. How is the family set up? But true children are stressed, and children would express those stresses differently. When you talk about science, and you're saying science, toddlers, there are toddlers, there are preschoolers, and then the teenagers, and even the youths. These guys probably would actually express these things differently. What you'd want to see is, in children, there is mtoto tu anakuwa either one akuli, or they're withdrawn. That's you should be thinking about that. They are trembling, unnecessarily. You don't understand what's happening. You need to be careful about that. There's the aspect of anxiety. And when a child is anxious, is it hyper alert sometimes? They could be hyper alert. Probably there is something what is happening. From a spiritual perspective, we say that we are spirits, and spirits communicate. When family, husband and wife is fighting and there's a toddler in, they will be listening to what's happening. And someone shouldn't cheat us that when I am fighting my wife and we have a young child, that he does not know or she does not know what's happening. They get every bit of what is happening, and they know the atmosphere is not good, and they'll be timid, and that in their later life might actually be expressed. So anger, fear of being left alone, are signs when you leave a child. That can be a stress. When a child is left alone, it can be a stress, but also those are signs that you may look at. Loss of sleep, they are not very comfortable, crying continuously, regressive behavior, the things that they've been doing, now they're not doing. So you need to check onto those signs. In preschoolers, we would talk of people talk of terrible two. When you talk of terrible two, when a child is stressed, they would respond differently. They can either be destructive in the house, or they can be moody in the house. They just they are irritable. They don't want anything to do with somebody. Any slight thing, their behavior just changes. So it's important to get note on that. And even sometimes bedwetting. Yes. And we may not take cognizance of this, but whatever is happening to our children, there is something we really need to think through. If they have not been bedwetting, what has happened all of a sudden? Yeah, they also have mood swings. Sometimes you come, the child had asked you to bring something and you've not brought it. They'll just stand like, And then I said, Daddy, what's happening? Either, I don't know how you call it, and I know I shoulders. My boy say, Wachana. So those are signs that something is wrong in them, yes. And of course, adults and teenagers will look at issues of low self-esteem. Those are some of the things, they would experience panic attacks as they grow, and some of them would be angry, and they just want to be alone. They don't want to talk. Teenagers would respond differently. So every age group would have a way, but some of the behaviors some of the signs would be there, cut across, but expressed differently with the different people, because the way a toddler would express it is not the way myself I would express my stress, or yourself, or a teenager 10 years. So it's different. No, or a 90-year-old mzee, it would be different. Yes.
And you talking of the aspect of the groups from toddlers to youth, there is the aspect of peer pressure. The aspect of peer pressure that's always occurring, mostly in youth. Can it lead to stress?
Yes. When you talk of peer pressure, Carol, there's what we call identity. When you come, a teenager is moving from one level, to another, they're maturing, they start experiencing, changes in their bodies, yeah? Ladies will be shy because now they are growing their busts, yeah? And to an extent that would stress them, especially when you go to a place and they say, squeeze nanyana grow matiti. How do you feel? He's shy, but from the back of your mind is a little bit stressful. Okay. So that would be stress. Peer pressure. I want identity, but the people I want to identify with do not want me in their midst. Then that would lead to what? To stress. Yeah? I want to associate with these people, but they are not being with me. They are not accepting me. So the lack of acceptance in a particular group can lead to stress. Peer pressure would lead to stress based on how they are treating the members of the group. Okay, so yes, it's a very tricky age that parents need to be really, really cautious about, so then we don't find this midlife crisis of adolescent. It's an age that parents need to be so alert. also to be there with the children, be present, and just understand what is happening. Then they are able to support. So yes, peer pressure can lead to stress. And peer pressure here is not only on young people. There are also big people who have pressure, you know. Mko na group yenu, I don't know, Caro, this is personal. But imagine your group, probably you are age 20 years old, it's still a peer. It's a peer of guys who are between 20 and 25, a peer of 25 and 30. There's like a group, you know. How do you call it, you know? I don't know. There's a way vijana call themselves in the mtaa. But the moment you are not to be part of that group, you'll feel bad because you start asking yourself, so why is it that they don't want me? Yes. Okay. So it can lead to that.
We're going for a short break, but we'll be right back.
Even before Jacob was still in the womb, God had predestined what he was going to be. God had planned what he was going to be. But I want to remind you, dear friend, that what is in the mind of people might not be what is in the mind of God.
Welcome back. We are going on with our discussion. This is Riverside Counsel. Remember, you can interact with us via the number on your screen or also in our social platforms, that is Instagram and Facebook, Riverside TV Kenya. And please don't forget to subscribe in our YouTube channel, that is Riverside TV Kenya. I believe stress can be controlled. And there are various ways that we can control stress. What are these ways that we can control stress?
Thank you, Caro. We would want to talk of reducing stress. You can reduce stress or avoid stress. So avoiding is having means and ways to deal with your issue. Reduction of stress is the ability to, being able to talk about what is happening in your life. Then that reduces your stress levels. Okay, sharing, reaching out, as we were saying. People need to reach out. And of course, even with the children, parents need to reach out to children. Be present with this child, Understand what the child is going through. You will be reducing that stress. You can imagine that today you are picked and you are being taken to isolation, Caro, for COVID-19. How would you feel? The moment you realize and you've heard that you are being picked because you are in contact with a COVID person, that in itself is stress. It's a stressful message. But if I come and say, no, Caro, it's fine, you are going there, but that is not a death sentence, It's just it's for your life, it's for your good, so then you are protected from any, ailment. If at all COVID-19 will bring you down, then you are safe, you can go for treatment. Now, if I address you that way, you'll feel a little bit, wow. And then when you talk and share, you'll be talking about, oh, I met so-and-so, and okay, fine. You met him, or what happened? We went here. I think that's why they've come to pick you. But so, yes, it is stressful at that time, but it is important to support you that going for that particular quarantine is to just study if you will give symptoms. If you are not symptomatic, then again you'll be tested and you'll be released home, you'll go back to your life. So that happens in life. And so it is important that we have mechanisms. One of them is that we need to share. Talk. And when you talk, you are relieved. going for professional therapy enables this particular individual to understand who they are, where they are, how do they feel in this situation, and how do they want to see, where do they want to see themselves, or what would they have wished to happen. And so as you go for therapy, or we call it therapy or counseling, you are empowered through psychoeducation. You share and actually come out with the results. Okay. Now, helping kids to cope, we were talking about children, and stress. How do we help children to cope with the stress or reduce stress? One of the things that I was saying, that parents and the caregivers have a duty. One, to observe the surrounding of their children, understand their children. There is a duty, because God has given us children to take care of as stewards. Okay, so then responsibility to support children to cope with what they are going through. How? I was mentioning something that good parenting is being there with your child. Many times we think that when I buy gifts for my child, I am being there, I am present. No, that is a gift. But the child or any other person wants me to be there. The child would want to look at me as dad, jump all over me, while I'm just there doing nothing. Many of our parents do not give their children that opportunity to just walk around. I have this young boy who, when I come back from work, I go get off my shoes and say, Daddy, unaka umechoka, are you tired? I say, yes, I'm tired. He removes the shoes and is feeling good about it. Now, if I bend, I say, no, please don't. I'm depriving that child on what they love, and they'll feel like, could there be something wrong? Why is it that Daddy do not want me to do this to him? Okay, but I allow him to do that, gets the socks, takes them to where they're supposed to be, and comes back. You know what? He'll be all over me, ananusanusa Daddy huku, anashikashika maskio, he guza my beards. And many times I really learn, I'm like, wow, so how is he feeling? So I ask him, so, mbona anashika huku? Anacheka tu, Daddy huku na ndevu za white. And so that child just love to feel you. Even as a mother, he or she just wants to feel you. So parents need to be there for their children. That is one way of reducing stress. Availability, you reduce stress. Number two is, it is important for children to have good food and good nutrition. Not just food, good nutrition. Let the child eat well-balanced diet and all those things. It releases them, Our body, when we eat, we relax. It's always important to relax. And then we move on. Rest. Rest is important for all of us. Whether children, whether adults, we are recommended to sleep for how many hours?
6 to 8 hours.
6 to 8 hours. And the child, more than 8. So rest is important. Yeah. Rest is important. Even for those who go to office after work, you're back. If you just go and lie in that bed for just 10 minutes and just close your eyes, think of nothing, but feel your body. Just feel how is the blood moving from your head to your toe. So rest is also one way of reducing stress. Exercise. Do some exercise. Jog around, run. Make sure that you are doing, if you are a lover of swimming, you can swim, you can walk around, take a nature walk. Yeah, have a me time. We have me time. So the me time enables you to just think of nothing. Like now we are here, you walk in a park, you listen to birds. It makes you feel good. It's therapeutic, Yeah. So have a me time, have rest, do exercise, take lots of water, A lot of water. When we are so stressed, sometimes we start having migraines. People start having this headache that does not do what? Disappear. And sometimes unconsciously you don't know that you are stressed. Again, I was forgetting that. Stress can be consciously or unconsciously in your subconscious. And you just find yourself stressed. So do lots of water, make sure you are hydrated well, do exercise, If you love singing, please sing. Yes, if you love dancing, have some time to just dance. Take a walk, dance, listen to music, that music that makes you feel nice. Those are ways and mechanisms of reducing stress and many other things.
There are people who have faced and undergone some serious cases. Let's talk of rape cases in children, infertility that leads to discrimination and isolation in the society, and it's hard for them to accept that it's happening to me. They have tried in every means just to end stress and reduce stress, but it's not helping. How can you advise these people?
Any person who has gone through defilement, rape, we call it gender-based violence, and someone you'll go under denial. As it, that is not me, I don't think it happened to me, denial. So denial will hamper you from getting help. But this is what we would encourage. Whoever goes through defilement, whether it's a child, an adult who goes through rape or the gender-based violence, it is always important to seek for professional support. And that is counseling or psychosocial support. It can be given various names. Seek for professional therapy or counseling support. That would enable this person to understand that yes, it happened, but it is not the end of it all. They can accept. Again, we cannot force someone to accept, but it's important that in that session they'll be learning, and also through it all the counselor will be working with them through their fears, would be working with them through their anger, would be working with them through their shame, would be working with them through many, many other things that they've experienced. And so, yes, on that, Caro, professional counseling is key. And that's why counselors like us, counseling psychologists, are there to support individuals who have gone through various forms of violation, stigmatization, stress, whatever that makes them feel bad. Counseling is not meant for, only in quote people would say, huyu mwenda wazimu. The moment your brain is unable to cope with certain things, you are stressed, you get confused, seek for help. And that is counseling.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph, for your time and the discussion that you have had.
Thank you.
I believe it's helpful to us and the viewers back at home. For more on this, you can hit the numbers on your screen and also interact with us in our social platforms, that is Facebook and Instagram, Riverside TV Kenya. And don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel, Riverside TV Kenya. Till next time, I was your host, Caroline Bide. Riverside TV, my station, my choice.